just created this minifigure that looks like my grandma. But over the course of this entire video, I will turn this very minifigure into the Barbarian King. Let's go! So, I have this idea that I want to create the best Barbarian King humanity has ever seen, and that in LEGO. And for those who don't know Clash of Clans, it's a multiplayer game where people strategically attack each other's bases to rob as much gold as possible. And the Barbarian King is actually the first hero you will ever unlock in this game. And therefore, he should be the first troop to ever be made out of LEGO. So, now that I have the idea, it is high time to get a game plan. And my first step is to get in-game inspiration. And it appears that I have to become very creative, because I need to make long hair, a beard, a sword, a kama, and much more. The list is kinda endless. So I quickly speedrun my way to the Legoland and ran straight into this monster that reminds me of the king. But I'm here to purchase the required minifigure parts for my king. So I hopped into the minifigure store, and holy moly do they have a lot of nice stuff to offer. There's a sword with a similar shape to the one in the game, a cool crown piece with long hair and even shoulder plates. Also a sand-colored torso couldn't miss, because the Barbarian King has a bare chest in a skin tone. And by combining all these pieces I just bought, we get this shabby looking old man, but I definitely can do better than that. So I'll get my entire spare minifigure collection and search for some beige lads, because the Barbarian King isn't obviously wearing trousers at all, more like a kama from Star Wars. But I'll get that one later. For now, let's start with the torso. I'll first paint the beige ground layer, on which I can add the red stripes. And please, don't be scared to mess up the lines, because you can always correct them further on by simply adding some more beige. Okay, so now I can turn my full attention to the back of the torso, and it is a very similar process. Just mirror to the other side, and because I assume that I already finished the torso in less than 1 hour of work, I felt like I were speedrunning this custom minifigure. Adding up to this is the fact that also the legs seemingly only take 1 minute to make. But little did I know that I only scratched the surface of what's coming next. And that the head would be so incredibly difficult. So I started out by shortening the hairs with a scalpel. This required a lot of strength because the plastic proved to be very resistant. But nevertheless, I finished what I had started. Just to realize that I also needed to cut out sections for the ears and remove more hair. So I marked the spots with a marker, which honestly wasn't helpful at all, because I just rubbed it off again with my fingers. So now I can mix a bright yellow and paint the hair. The next step was so plain sailing that I even felt once again like a speedrunner, because the arms are quick and easy and I only needed to add some beige color. And also the golden hand proves to be not too hard. Yet I'm far from finished. In fact, I'm just getting started. And I am back to cutting Lego. I mean, you have to understand that I am a huge fan of this shoulder plate I purchased in the Legoland. But I feel like it completely misses the actual shape. And in another strength-dropping effort, I cut off the right section of it. And before you tease me again for not using a golden piece for that, as you did back with Kobe for not using brown hands. Oh, okay, there you actually were completely in the right to harass me. That was a bad mistake. But here it has a very good reason. Just trust me on that one. I want to give the shoulder plate a metallic, worn look, and because of that, I decided to go with a silver shoulder plate, so the silver can shimmer through the gold. And when adding your shoulder plate, make sure to also add some putty to increase the stability. But also the other arm has something to offer. An armband with golden knuckle crusher knobs. Well, and it was then that I also realized that his chest wasn't quite a chest yet. It was as if the great sea was without waves. As if the Lego piece was without pins. As if, you know what I mean. The chest lines were just missing. So I feel compelled to paint them. I even had to repaint one of them because I performed such a bad swing with my hand. I also added some more putty to his chest to symbolize those golden knobs on top of his strap. But talking of unnecessary accessories, the Barbarian King also needs to have shoes to step over his defeated enemies. So let me carefully paint a slim brown edge around his feet to symbolize slippers. You know, the ones you always get in a hotel room to go to your private swimming pool. There we go. But with that task also out of the hand, there is only one more mission apparent. And that was the Kama. So essentially I took one from Star Wars and added some more fabric here and there, painted it and even cut it, only to realize that I completely messed up. So I'll once again paint some fabric brown, then add my marvelous drawing, cut it and add it with some force to the legs. But something's not quite right, I feel like. Let's check back on the game character. Oh crap, I forgot the beard and the eyebrows. So let me flatten a small section of Fimo with some Lego slope pieces and add them to the forehead. I'm now gonna cut away most of the Fimo again, so the eyes and mouth are visible again. I'll then paint the beard and start with the eyebrows. In my eyes, they almost were the hardest part of the entire minifigure, I would say, because I had to make them so small and I had to split them in the middle. They always stuck to my toothpick, so it took me several tries to assemble them. But finally, I also got that one done. Now, the last item should be the sword. And I'll first paint the hilt, knob and this kind of thingy that protects your hand from the top. I'll then add the first layer of silver, before I cut out small sections of the sword with my scalpel to give it yet again a worn appearance. Now I can repaint the entire sword again. Well, and I think the Barbarian King is pretty much finished. So make sure to hold tight on that subscribe button to not miss out on the other 3 heroes. See ya!